The woman's scream cut through the quiet of the upscale shopping district like shattering glass. "Get your filthy hands off my car." Heads turned. Conversations stopped. The object of her fury stood frozen beside a gleaming red Ferrari 488 Spider parked at the curb, a 12-year-old boy in a faded hoodie and worn sneakers. His hand hovered inches from the polished hood, as if he'd been afraid to actually touch it. I'm sorry, ma'am," he stammered, stepping back quickly. "I wasn't gonna hurt it." The woman, draped in designer silk and oversized sunglasses, marched toward him, heels clicking sharply against the pavement. "Do you even know what this is?" she snapped. "This car costs more than you'll make in your entire life." A few onlookers shifted uncomfortably. The boy's face burned red, but he didn't run. "Yes, ma'am," he said quietly. "It's a Ferrari, twin-turbo V8, about 661 horsepower." That caught a few murmurs from the crowd. The woman blinked behind her sunglasses. "What? It's mid-engine," he continued, voice steadier now. 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. She scoffed. "So you looked it up online. That doesn't give you the right to touch it." "I didn't touch it," he said softly. "I just wanted to hear it." "Hear it? When you turned it off," he explained, glancing toward the car, "it didn't sound right." That made her laugh, short, sharp, dismissive. "Oh, and you're a mechanic now?" A flicker of something crossed the boy's face, not arrogance but certainty. "Yes, ma'am." Before she could respond, she pressed her key fob and slid into the driver's seat. "Watch and learn," she said loudly, clearly performing for the growing audience. She pressed the ignition. The Ferrari roared to life, then sputtered. A faint rattling noise came from the rear. The engine coughed unevenly, the once smooth purr replaced by a rough vibration that even the untrained ear could detect. Her smile faltered. She revved it slightly. The rattling worsened. A warning light flickered on the dashboard. The crowd murmured again. She quickly shut it off. "It was fine yesterday," she muttered defensively. "Probably just bad gas." The boy hesitated, then spoke carefully. "Ma'am, it sounds like a misfire." She turned on him, incredulous. "Excuse me, maybe a coil pack," he continued, gesturing nervously toward the rear of the car. "Or a loose connection in the ignition system. When you shut it off earlier, I heard it stutter." "And you know this how?" she demanded. "My dad," he said simply. Something in his tone shifted the air. "He used to work on cars. All kinds. We didn't have much, but he'd bring home engines people gave up on. Said every machine just needs someone to listen." The crowd had gone quiet now. The woman crossed her arms. "And what, you think you can fix it?" He hesitated. "If you let me look," he said. "I won't touch anything without asking." She looked around. Too many eyes watching. Too much pride at stake. "Fine," she snapped. "But if you scratch it, I'm calling the police." He nodded quickly. She popped the rear hatch. The boy approached like someone entering a cathedral, careful, reverent. He leaned in, not touching, just listening. He asked her to start it again. She did. He closed his eyes. The engine vibrated unevenly, that faint metallic tapping returning. "Cylinder 4, he said quietly. She frowned. "What? It's not firing right," he said. "Hear that rhythm? It's skipping every fourth beat." She stared at him. He pointed gently. "There's a slight tremor on this side. Could be a loose ignition coil connector. Sometimes they shake loose with vibration." The woman hesitated. "And you're sure?" "No, ma'am," he said honestly. "But I think so." After a long pause, she stepped aside. "You have 2 minutes." The boy swallowed and carefully reached in, using only his fingertips. He didn't yank or tug, just gently checked the visible connectors. There, one sat slightly crooked. "Ma'am," he said softly. "May I?" She nodded stiffly. He pressed the connector firmly into place until it clicked. "Try now." She slid back into the seat, clearly skeptical, and hit the ignition. The Ferrari roared. This time, the engine purred, smooth, deep, perfect. No rattling, no sputter. The warning light disappeared. The sound was clean, powerful, alive. A collective gasp rose from the crowd. The woman froze, hands gripping the steering wheel. She revved it once. Flawless. She shut it off slowly and stepped out, staring at the boy as if seeing him for the first time. "How did you?" He shrugged, suddenly looking 12 again. "Dad says engines talk. You just have to listen." There was no smugness, no triumph, just simple truth. The crowd began to clap, tentative at first, then louder. The woman felt heat creep up her neck. She cleared her throat. "Well, I suppose that was fortunate. The boy stepped back. I'm sorry if I scared you, ma'am. I really wasn't gonna hurt it. She looked at him, really looked at him now. The worn cuffs of his hoodie. The grease stains faintly embedded in his fingernails. The careful way he avoided eye contact. What's your name? She asked. Eli. Where did you learn all that, Eli? He shifted. My dad taught me. Before he got sick. Her expression softened slightly. He can't work anymore. Eli shook his head. He passed last year. A silence fell heavier than before. I help my uncle at his garage after school, Eli added quickly. Just sweeping mostly, but he lets me watch. The woman glanced at her Ferrari. Then back at Eli. How much does your uncle pay you? Eli shrugged. Sometimes $20. Sometimes nothing. It's fine. She hesitated, wrestling with something internal, pride, embarrassment, perspective. Finally, she reached into her purse and pulled out a sleek business card. I own a performance automotive company, she said. Imports, restorations, high-end builds. Eli's eyes widened slightly. We have certified mechanics, she continued carefully. Engineers, specialists. She extended the card toward him. But we don't have someone who listens. He stared at the card as if it might vanish. I can't hire you, she said. You're 12. A flicker of disappointment crossed his face. But, she continued, we have a mentorship program. Internships. Summer apprenticeships for young students interested in engineering. The crowd leaned in. I'd like to sponsor you. Eli blinked. Sponsor. Tools. Training. School tuition when the time comes, she clarified. If you're willing to work hard. His hands trembled slightly as he took the card. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep listening, she replied. For the first time, a small smile broke across his face. I will, she nodded, then surprised everyone, including herself, by extending her hand. He shook it gently. The crowd dispersed slowly, whispering. As Eli turned to leave, she called after him. Eli. He stopped. Next time, she said, a hint of warmth in her voice, just ask before diagnosing my Ferrari. A grin flickered across his face. Yes, ma'am. He jogged down the sidewalk, clutching the card like treasure. The woman stood beside her car for a long moment. Then she looked at the engine through the glass. Machines just need someone to listen. For years, she had measured worth in price tags, horsepower, prestige. She had built her empire on perfection and exclusivity. And yet the person who truly understood her prized machine had arrived in worn sneakers. She slid into the Ferrari once more and started the engine. It purred, steady and strong, but for the first time, she heard something else in that sound. Humility. 3 years later, Eli stood inside a spotless performance garage, staring at a disassembled engine on a lift. He was taller now, confident, focused. Across the shop floor, the same woman watched quietly. He adjusted a component with careful precision, listening. Then he nodded. Now, he said to one of the senior mechanics. Try it. The engine came alive, smooth as silk. The mechanic whistled. Kids got magic ears. The woman smiled faintly. No, she corrected. He just listens. Eli glanced over, catching her eye. She gave a small nod. He returned it. A wealthy woman. A scared 12-year-old boy. A broken Ferrari. And the moment that changed both their lives, not because of horsepower or money, but because someone finally stopped long enough to listen. 1500 WAD.